Hello, and thank you for downloading the latest episode of the Media Master Podcast. My name is David Rios TV, coming to you live and direct from Austin, Texas. La fecha de hoy, today's date is Friday, December 27th. Es el último podcast del año 2024. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a bilingual podcast where I talk about music, media, and entertainment. And lately I've been talking a lot about Internet marketing, ya que esa es una de mis pasiones. Internet marketing is one of my passions. It's something that I do also on a day-to-day basis with my personal business and the experience that I have working for media for the past 25 years. In today's episode, I want to talk about three things that's going to give us a little bit of momentum heading into 2025, and that is traffic, leads, and sales. Previous podcasts, I've talked about music and other entertaining topics, but today, I know money's very important to everybody. We should always be trying to make more to have a better life. So for those of you who are starting off in internet marketing, este podcast es para ti si estás empezando tu vida en el mundo de emprendimiento digital, ya que en los últimos años I launched my course. I have an online course that I launched in 2021 during the pandemic, and that is still active today, and it's part of what I do in this world. So before I get too far ahead, just let me take a quick pause to thank everybody who has downloaded this podcast in this year, 2024. I was looking at some of the data, some of the analytics. And so the podcast, it's on different platforms. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. Sale on YouTube. The audio automatically publishes to YouTube, to Pandora, to Apple Podcast, and that link, I put it on my website, davidreels.tv, and it just goes everywhere. It's on Amazon, Alexa. So wherever you're hearing this podcast, muchas gracias. On the official podcast page, we had over 500 downloads this year. On the YouTube analytics, we had thousands of views on the podcast there. All of that leads to traffic. So let's go and start off there, ¿verdad? What is traffic? How can we turn those into leads? And how can we turn those leads into sales? That's what I want to talk about today, very briefly, as we head into 2025. Pero más que nada, once again, thank you for tuning in. On my YouTube channel this year, I was able to reach 11,000 subscribers. So I have 11,000 subscribers on YouTube, a couple of thousand followers on Facebook and Instagram combined. And this is information that I don't talk about usually on my social media, ya que social media, it's more for people that have followed me from my days in broadcast TV. I used to be an on-air talent. I was a music reporter for Univision, entertainment reporter for 11 years. Prior to working at Univision, I worked at the Grammy Awards as a project manager for the Grammys and the Land Grammys. Prior to the Grammys, I was a program director at a lot of different Spanish radio stations. So a través de los años, being on the airwaves, being on TV, being on radio, I've got some folks that follow me that are quote-unquote viewers, listeners. And, of course, I've got this niche audience that I have here on my podcast where I talk about more technical stuff, I guess you can call it that, ¿verdad? On my social media, I talk about bands, music, stuff that everybody knows about. But I think the audience that is tuning in to my podcast is people that want to go a little bit deeper y quieren saber qué es lo que yo hago para que ellos también lo puedan hacer. In 2018, I left Univision to start my own social media agency and also to go full-time on social media myself on my YouTube channel. So my social media, my marketing agency, production agency here in Austin, I've got clients, local clients, and I also do video, voiceover production for people all over the world. So traffic, we're talking about traffic, right? So how do you get traffic? If you've got a product that you want to sell, ya sea un producto digital, if you're an artist, you want to promote a concert. If you're an automotive dealership, you want to promote the vehicles that you're selling, you need traffic. So what we're going to do here, we're going to create a quick little funnel, and this is what we're going to do for next year, ¿verdad? Because we want to build everybody who's listening, everybody who's tuning in. We want to turn those people into buyers eventually. We want them to support you. You want to be able to monetize your content, your business. You want to monetize your traffic. You want to turn those into sales. And there's many ways you could do that. But when you talk about traffic, estamos hablando the viewers, right? What a lot of businesses do, from my experience, 25 years in radio and TV, the bigger the business, the more traffic they need. So if we're going to talk about us, right, a small entrepreneur, if you're a local shop, you want to bring in people into your store, you're going to advertise in your local radio station. That's how it was back in the day. But the market has already changed. Radio no longer has the power it has. They're still here. They're not going to go anywhere. But as they say, radio's pretty much dead, right? Where you should be focusing 100% of your attention is online, digital marketing. So when you want traffic, you want to upload to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You want to find which platforms you're getting more traction and just go in a little bit more there with more content. For me, I upload to my vlogs on YouTube, and of course, I've got my social media content on Facebook, Instagram, a little bit of LinkedIn. So when I get a sale on my course is called Media Master Course. This month alone in December, I've already sold 6, wrapping up the year, 6 courses. And some of my students are in Chile, in Mexico. I've got a couple of students in Colombia, Peru. So those customers of mine are not local people here in Austin, Texas, because I'm already thinking global, ¿verdad? I'm thinking I want a global audience. I want to tap into the global market. Local is still very important. My agency handles local accounts, local businesses. Pero yo, David Rios, personally, I want to reach more people. I want to have customers all over the world. And what I do is create traffic. I create content on all these platforms where I do tutorials, I do photography, I do vlogs. I have a lot of content on my YouTube channel of how to work online, how to record voiceovers. And the product that I offer is a digital product. I have an online course that people could buy. And also, by being active on social media, I get endorsements. Like, for example, in Austin, Texas, locally, I'm endorsed by Hannah Chevrolet. I do their commercials every month. Salgo como un talento de televisión. By creating content on social media, Hannah Chevrolet taps into me to tap into my audience. And that's how you get traffic. So that's how you get leads. People will then go to, in this case, my website, their dealership, my profile. If I have an online profile on one of these online marketplaces, people will look for me. If somebody sees your content and if they want what you have to offer, they're going to look for you. In my case, I have my landing page, which is my website, davidrios.tv. So across all of my platforms, I have my URL, davidrios.tv. So if somebody sees something of mine, if it gets shared, if it gets recommended on social media, either by the platform itself or by somebody who shared it, somewhere on there is my website, davidrios.tv, on my profile. So out of the thousands of views that I'm getting, 50 here, 100 here, a couple of thousand there, that traffic turns into leads. I get their email address. They sign up for my newsletter. I have their email address. I follow up with an email sequence. And you never know who's going to get that email, who's going to see that video, who's going to listen to that podcast. And they're going to turn into a buyer. We want to turn traffic into leads, leads into sales. Those are the 3 components of digital marketing. And so when you talk about your product, we want to have something valuable. We want to offer something valuable to the people. Some expert secrets that I've learned across the years is to provide a vision for a better future for your customers. For example, if they're going to buy a new car, a new truck, provide that vision of how that truck is going to help the family, help you in work. Provide value to them by tutorials on what your product is about, how to use your product, what are some of the ins and outs of it. And just, create a title of liberty, like a tagline. Here in Hannah Chevrolet, por ejemplo, decimos los gigantes de la Chevy in Austin. My course Media Master, I call my students Media Masters. They want to be Media Masters. How many radio stations have we heard? La que buena, la que suena con más música, la número uno. So taglines. We need a title to associate with your brand. And just keep producing content. Keep getting the word out. Whether you're advertising or whether you're doing content marketing or digital marketing, print. Some people still do print, believe it or not. It doesn't matter. There is an audience. What you need to do is get traffic from wherever you can get it and turn those traffic into leads and those leads into sales. Amigos, muchas gracias por escuchar este podcast. Visit my website, davidreels.tv. I've got a lot of free training, entrenamiento gratis. Tengo tutoriales, cómo grabar tu voz, cómo tomar fotos, cómo hacer videos. I got free videos, tutorials, how to do podcasts just like this. If you want to learn how to do a podcast, to publish your podcast, I've got free tutorials, free training on my YouTube channel, and you can go there, David Reels TV on YouTube, or just go to my website, and I've got links to everything. If you listen this far, I invite you to download my free PDF. It's a report that I wrote, like 10 pages. It's a free PDF report where I talk about my 7 secrets, 7 secretos al éxito. Es un reporte gratis. It's a free PDF download. All you got to do is go to my website, davidreels.tv, and download it from there. Muchas gracias, amigo. Thank you for downloading this podcast. No importa si son 30, 50, 1,000, 10,000, 1,000 personas. Haz de cuenta que estamos en un cuarto. I used to teach online. Let me give you guys a quick little outtake. I used to teach for a university, Incarnate Word in San Antonio. And I taught some college classes, some university classes in person. And in one of my classes, there was like 8 students. So providing value and helping those students was very satisfying for me. So when I see that a podcast of mine gets 8 downloads, I imagine that those are 8 students that I have in the classroom with me. So if you're doing the same thing, if you're creating content, sigan haciéndolo. No importa si lo están viendo 10 personas, 100 personas, 1,000 personas. Recuerden que es la calidad, ¿verdad? You want to turn those traffic into leads, those leads into sales. Les deseo lo mejor en este 2025. Feliz Navidad. Que tengan un próspero año nuevo. And God willing, we'll be here again in 2025 with more content, more podcasts, and more vlogs. Thank you for tuning in. Hasta la próxima. This has been the Media Master Podcast.